Your smartphone or laptop probably has a fairly small amount of working memory, 8 or 16 gigabytes. Yet right now, you have dozens of massive apps and tabs open all at once, physically crushing the table legs of your hardware. If your device tried to shove all that open software into its physical memory at once, it would instantly buckle and freeze. It simply cannot hold it all. But it doesn't freeze. The operating system prevents this crash by acting as a hidden layer organization between your hardware and your software. Think of your computer's processor as a reader sitting at a small, well-lit reading desk. That desk is your physical RAM, your active working memory. But right behind that desk is a massive, cavernous library bookshelf. That is your hard drive, holding every piece of data you own. This separation between the fast workspace and the giant, deep storage shelf is the foundational setup that allows our devices to attempt much larger tasks than their hardware would normally allow. To make this work, the operating system acts like a magical librarian. When you open a program, the librarian doesn't point to the small physical desk. Instead, it hands it a glowing, infinitely long private desk. This creates an illusion where every single app you open feels like it's the only program running, with its own exclusive, endless workspace. The reality, of course, is that we cannot fit all these massive, awkwardly shaped private workspaces into the tiny physical space of our real hardware desk. The librarian solves the size problem by slicing every massive book into equal, uniform chunks called pages. Your physical memory desk is carved into the exact same grid pattern, allowing those sliced pages to drop perfectly into pre-cut slots. By forcing wildly different apps to all conform to the exact same size, the librarian packs the limited physical desk completely full without wasting a single drop of space. When the processor actually begins reading those pages to run your app, the timing has to be incredibly precise. The librarian doesn't load the entire book onto the desk at once. They only fetch a specific page at the exact millisecond the reader asks for it. Think about a complex piece of software. Huge sections of the code, like error messages you never trigger or menus you never click, stay on the dusty library shelf. They never take up premium space on your active desk because they were never asked for. But eventually, the reader is going to turn the page, and the processor will ask to read a piece of data that is still sitting over on the storage shelf. This diagram shows what happens next. The smooth timeline of your program suddenly hits a gap. This is a momentary pause where the librarian realizes a page is missing, sprints to the bookshelf, grabs the data, and drops it on the desk. This fetch happens in fractions of a second. The program is completely blind to the pause. It just wakes back up and assumes the information was sitting there all along. Through this constant cycle of fetching pages only when they are needed, the system guarantees that your very limited, very expensive physical memory is only ever holding the things you are actively using right now. Even with this extreme efficiency, we still have to face the hard physical limit. Eventually, bringing things over one page at a time, your real working desk will become 100% full. This diagram illustrates how the system makes room. The librarian identifies an older, dusty page you haven't looked at in a while, slides it out of the active grid, and tucks it back onto the storage shelf. Then they slot the brand new page into the empty space. This constant trade-off is often called swapping. This quiet, constant rotation, swapping active data in and inactive data out, is how you can run dozens of heavy browser tabs on a device with barely any physical RAM. There is a breaking point, however. If you open too many heavy things at once, the librarian becomes completely overwhelmed. Instead of doing any actual reading, they spend all their time frantically shuffling papers between the desk and the shelf. The computer freezes up, a frantic state known as thrashing. But as long as you stay out of that danger zone, the system works beautifully. It is a constant, invisible choreography of pages, a digital sleight of hand that tricks our software into feeling like physical limitations simply do not exist.